Let's go. We got a fall practice report, and there's so much I want to get to. Obviously, comment below your biggest takeaway. At the end, I'm going to give you the biggest negative I feel right now on this team, but let's start with the LSU running game. I understand there were some actual scrimmage highlights. We'll get to those in just a second, but there are two pretty big takeaways from these two reps. Now, once again, this is not, the LSU defense. This is a bunch of backups putting red jerseys on just for them to go over practice reps here. The first thing, though, is John Emery getting a lot of reps here with this first unit.
One, we wanted to put John in a position where the reps mattered, and mattered in the sense of he had to cut. He had to be stressed. He's cleared.
That's him in the number 22 uniform right there. The second thing is that both of these runs looks to be a variation of outside zone, right? It's not really something LSU has done a whole lot of. I feel they've been more of an inside zone team, which is a little bit more of an interior handoff. And this is the second outside handoff in a row here. So is this going to be a bigger piece of LSU's running game? It should be very interesting to see how it's called in sequence this year. And you could see Joe Sloan coaching up how he wants it to be run. All right, so we're going to play these clips in slow motion because it is wobbly here. And I want to actually show you this play. This was a huge piece of LSU's offense in the Brian Kelly era in the first couple of years. This isn't snag, at least I don't think it is, but they did a lot of these short, quick routes, just quick comebacks, triangle read types of plays. And, this is going to be a big part of the Garrett Nussmeier offense, right? If you read zone, obviously you want to hit just a quick little comeback right here, have CJ Daniels sit. This, flat route right here holds the flat defender, and this is some kind of vertical. This is a huge piece of what LSU's done. Just these types of plays. And I don't really remember them because they rarely go for some kind of massive explosive gain. But look at when Garrett Nussmeier's throwing this football. He reads it quickly, and the ball is out before CJ Daniels stops. That's really, really good stuff. And especially considering, they did have the spring portion, but this is their first full year playing together. It's some good stuff. So now we get an inside handoff here to Caleb Jackson. Man, this LSU just has always feasted on this during the BK era. Split zoning, the tight end, obviously Mason Taylor. Look at this, man. They have been so good since their true freshman season doing this. How tight this is to the line of scrimmage. That really adds to the effectiveness of this play. Look, he even touches Will Campbell on the rear end right there. And it's just so tight. I mean, that is, butter, knife cutting through butter quickness, and that just seals this off, and all you need is just some good blocks to the inside. Even DJ Chester falling down, this play still ends up being effective. Now, they're not going full speed there, but just simple handoffs up the middle. And then I want to highlight Zavion Thomas back-to-back here. Garrett Nussmeier, you showed the same look, except this time you're pulling Emery Jones and Miles Frazier from one side to the other. When it comes to pulling both guard and tackle, GT plays, if you will, LSU's not done it a whole lot, nor has it really been that effective when they have done it. It's going to be interesting to see how much pulling they're going to do with their linemen this year. But, man, Zavion Thomas, I keep telling you guys, I just think, and we'll talk more about him here, I just think you're about to really watch someone really blow your minds. All right, so this was one of my favorite reps of the day, and it just kind of furthers my stance on Zavion Thomas, okay? One of the most underrated things about a guy like Malik Neighbors is he did a really good job. When he didn't get the football, he was good at getting other people open, right? And how you play when the targets aren't going your way shows me a lot. So Zavion Thomas, inside release on this corner, but his main job on this play is to help create traffic for this out route here to Mac Markway. And watch what he does, okay? It looks like this is just a very simple out route, but look at what he does, right? He doesn't actually touch Harold Perkins, but he kind of rubs him, right? He kind of just stops him in his tracks. And look at Will Campbell's got this end in a phone booth right here. And this is just such a quick and easy read from Garrett Nussmeier. Look, he's already locked and loaded, ready to throw this football. And there's really nothing Harold Perkins can do, right? This is LSU's fourth best receiving tight end. And because of Zavion Thomas getting a good rub, that gave Mac Markway that much more room to make that catch. And this is something about the Sloan era that's going to be very interesting. At Louisiana Tech, I'd have to go find this data again. It could just be totally wrong, but he was a very heavy 10 personnel guy, which means 4 wide receiver sets. Obviously, Pimpton's a tight end, so it's still 11 personnel because the second number in a personnel grouping is the amount of tight ends. I just think this year you're going to see LSU's tight ends spread out a little bit more, especially if Trades Green plays more reps. This is obviously Ricky Collins hitting Trades on just a little stop right here. But with Pimpton and Trades Green in the fold, I could see more tight ends lined up out wide.
Go get it, Kai! Ball! Good job, JK!
So much has been made of Shelton Sampson's 2 big grabs at practice, and yeah, they were spectacular, but you also heard in the background the coaches saying good job by J.K. Johnson because this was a good job. You want to get your hand in the middle there to try and jar it loose, and I think that ball actually came loose there at the end. So I think that's why the coaches were so hyped. Still good coverage.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're looking for from him, right? His ability to go up and get the football and compete for it. He was not a 50-50 guy last year. He was a 20-80 guy. He lost 80% of those. I believe he's a 50-50 guy. I mean, he can go and get those balls.
And this was the second Sampson grab. As you can see, this was a busted play. I think someone jumped off sides, and it's just an automatic alert to throw a deep ball. So that helped out Shelton there as well, but still an overall solid catch. I just don't know if Sampson or J.K. Johnson will be able to jump the depth chart enough to play this year, and A.J. Swan, who was actually throwing the ball. Now, I do want to talk about Malik Neighbors because, well, I say Malik Neighbors, 40 and slip. Kyron Lacey looked like him in practice. I mean, just look at this grab yet again. Absolutely ridiculous. Then again, it was on a true freshman. All right, so the most undertold story about LSU football next year will be the punting game, right? Who will be the returner? This is Jelani Watkins. I would put him as probably the punt returner number 3 at this point. But you have to just use basic logic to understand punting is going to be a big deal. As you can see, Blake Oschendorf. This is a year 6, 6'7" mammoth of a punter. Most of LSU's punters were really good athletes. They weren't just some schlubs off the street. And look, if the LSU defense is going to be slightly better, then punt returning is going to be a bigger part of the offense. If the LSU offense will have some slight regression negatively, they're going to be punting the football more often. And look, this is number 12 right here, Kyle Parker. This is a 50-plus yard bomb with hang time, pinning him in the corner right here. That is an absolute bomb, all right? I would like to see, once again, this is starting to become the Zavion Thomas show. I would like to see him be the guy. That's just me. I find this interesting as well. Harold Perkins as the gunner here. This looks like this is the second unit of punters because this looks like this is Peyton Todd back here. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. And this is who I think could be the punt returner number 2, Aaron Anderson. That's who they try to have be the guy, but obviously he had the fumble. But I do expect Zavion Thomas to eventually win this role.
One, we wanted to put John in a position where the reps mattered, and mattered in the sense of he had to cut. He had to be stressed. He's cleared.
So we get to my biggest concern, and it's pretty much the same as most of you, the defensive tackle room and how it all works together with the defensive line. So it is important to note that these first couple of practices, Jalen Lee and Braden Swinson, who's an edge, they weren't there. Everything looks to be fine. But, man, this is a walk-on. I think August is his last name, and here he is going up against Jacoby and Guillory. And he is definitely one of the more important pieces on this team next year. So Tank, his dad has been a huge supporter of ours. They're going to need Tank to be unfreaking believably reliable. They don't need him to be spectacular per se, but can you give LSU something? This is Demarion Johnson, a true freshman, and Preston Hickey, I think, will play a little bit more than people could see, right? The former walk-on who has a lot of fans in the building just for, him being him, but we'll see. Sean Washington is a guy who had his ups and downs from spring. Obviously went to Georgia at first and then had a foray at the JUCO level, and now here he is, all right? Can he give you something up the middle? Big number 95. And then, of course, you have Dominic McKinley, who's not pictured here. The most interesting name out of all the players is JVR Suggs, okay? An obscure number 31 here. He is not the biggest guy, but he is a year 6 collegiate player, year 5 or year 6, either one, coming from, a lower level, GVSU. We'll see, all right? He had some really impressive plays that we have broken down, obviously, on this channel. So we'll see how he fits into this entire role. But Bo Davis, definitely one of the more critical coaches on staff in his first year at LSU. So we will see. Hopefully McKinley and Lee can give them something. I believe this is Slade Nagel, the new tight end and special teams coach. Man, this is going to be a fun year of LSU football. Now, before I get to this next topic, which involves a screen game, there's Chris Hilton in that new number 3 uniform. I want to say thanks. A lot of you have reached out. I've had some weird health issues, and I've discussed it on our live streams. We hope to see you guys on our live streams. But I feel just fine. It is just the weirdest thing happening to me. I don't want to get too deep into details, but I appreciate all the thoughts, prayers, all that good stuff. I want to talk about the quarterback battle. Obviously, Garrett Nussmeier is going to be the guy. He should be the guy. But it looks as if Ricky Collins is going to be your top backup heading into the season. And that is something I did not expect to happen. Now, that is not solidified. Brian Kelly was asked about, these backup quarterbacks, and, he's talking about consistency and all of that. But you'll see Ricky mostly working with the 2s and the 1s-ish, right? And this is him with Caleb Jackson. Another guy, Josh Williams was more so working with the 3s. I just think they're slowly working him in because he is going to be such a critical piece. And then you get here to A.J. Swan, the theoretical number 3 QB. I don't think that is locked into stone. We might not ever even know who exactly the number 3 is. We hope we don't, because Garrett Nussmeier will have been playing really well and perfectly healthy. But it is interesting. So I have been very impressed with what I've heard about Ricky Collins, though. Really, really good stuff. So comment below your thoughts. We do have an extra Patreon film study. We shared, there's Nicholas Brissett right there. We showed a little bit of it a little bit earlier. One huge concern on one play that I didn't show today. You can check it out there. Okay? It is Power Hour LSU. Boom! And tonight, we are doing lemon pepper chicken wings.